I'm on the beach here, Laguna Beach, and as you can see, there's a bit more surf than when I chatted yesterday. It's kind of a grey mist right now, but it actually feels really good sitting out here. So I want to go over briefly the steps of Drain That Pain. Of course, this is described as a holistic energy technique, which is used for chronic pain elimination, and it uses active imagination. And of course, it's safe. It's absolutely safe. So, the first step, and most crucial for anything that you do with a client, is to get into rapport. And for me, rapport simply means that you breathe with them and establish breathing, which is really where the mind and the body can integrate. So yes, breathe with your client right off the get-go. Now, at this point, I'm going to ask for a number and say, what is the problem? And if it's what's often described as physical pain, where is it, and give me a number. So you want to get numbers for everything, whether they have brain fog or dizziness or whatever else is going on. But do it right at the beginning of the session. Why? Because as the session progresses, those numbers are going to go down. So get the numbers. It's simple. On a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, give me a number. And then you want to ask what was going on at the time when this happened. So, and you want just briefly, and say to the client briefly, you do not want that client to get all involved with their personal history and personal problems. You don't want to put them back in that state. So you just simply say briefly what was going on at that time of your life. And you listen. And any pertinent words that the client says, you repeat back to them. It is really important just to have made the decision just to hold space for that client and to have your total attention on that. So, and then I simply say, let's talk about intention. And I say, people let go of pain even if they don't believe this. And I say this times, I'm so amazed that I don't believe it, but it still happens. And so then the client will start nodding, right, like that. And I say too, it's also a surprise for people that actually chronic pain is not physical, it's emotional. And then they'll start nodding again, right? Because most people, if you sit down and you talk to them and you simply say, you know what, chronic pain, I mean pain that has not, new pain that has not gone away, is because of some form of conditioning within you. And once you just really intend to let that go, then it will go. So I speak like that. What am I doing? I'm priming the person just to let it go. Now, at this point, I mention about we're all energy. We're all energetically connected. Just as when we breathe together and then breathe together with the client again. And it's important to mention that. And you can mention any example you like. You could mention metronomes or something like that. And then I do talk about the conscious and the unconscious mind, because most people really don't have this principle that the tip of the iceberg, I mean, that's all there is to the conscious mind. But the unconscious mind, it's like there's so much more beneath the surface. So, yes, talk about that. Talk about the conscious and the unconscious mind. And I often say at this time, when the unconscious mind, I consider it rather like a 7-year-old child. And I'll say, I'm so sorry for the things that have happened to you. And then you really do have a child's attention at that point. And at this point, you go on to the signaling. In other words, we all have a way of saying yes, right? Now, you want them to say yes with their body. So give me a sign for yes. Now, I do touch clients. I touch them often on the forehead, in the pineal gland. Often I put a hand on their shoulder. So you need to ask permission always, of course. Is it okay for me to touch you, on that? And just do it. To say yes, then that's fine. There's a lot of opening and closing eyes in this when you're getting signals for yes. In other words, you get the signal, open the eyes, okay? So that is really a form of fractionation. So it's very simple. Just give me a signal for yes and do it with your body. And often the person will say yes, and you say no, just do it now with your body. And you wait till you get a really good yes from the body, and you'll say, that was really different than your regular yes. And at this point, you want that person to fully intend to let it go. And I'll say, is it okay for you to fully intend to let go of this issue today, consciously, but be aware of it unconsciously? And that's a really great sentence. Learn it. And get the head nod, okay? And then you need to make sure that they understand the difference between new pain and old pain. And if it's physical pain, and they're on some form of horrible opiate medication, it's most important that you say, it's really important that you come off that drug. When you let go of pain here today, you come off those drugs supervised by your provider. So important. And then once you've established that this really is old pain, in other words, chronic pain, and the client has agreed, obviously, to let it go, and then you can simply say, we can run the drain. You can just tell them to let it go now. Now again, if you're trained in timeline therapy, you can go back to the origin. But unless you've really been trained in dissociation and how to use that, then I believe that you should simply just ask people to drain the pain. And that's simply the river fountain within their body, and step out of it. And then you bring in the new light. Obviously, you need to know what it is that the client wants. You will have asked what it is they want in their life and the future pace. And you bring in new light and new energy. And that really, at that point, you've really moved the new energy into the person. So, to go over again just briefly. Number one, get in rapport. Number two, it's just a bird right here, really adorable. Number two, once you're in rapport, you need to have the client give you the numbers afterwards. Before that you even do the session. Number three, you need a brief personal history, what was going on. Number four, you need to talk about energy. We're all energetically connected. Number five, you need to talk about the conscious, the unconscious mind, and that this is a process of integration. Number six, you need to have the client fully intend to let go of it. And then number seven, you need to drain that pain using the fountain. So that, in a nutshell, it's very simple. And once they've drained it, of course, you can measure the numbers. And I've also talked about using the control switch. If a person gets it down to a 3, you can use the switch, but never force it after that. That's just where the body-mind, if it doesn't go any lower, goes down to a 2 or something, leave that. Because maybe it'll go at another session. So, in a nutshell, that is what Drain That Pain is. Questions? Post them below. Thanks.